effort to create quality employment opportunities. And I emphasize that word quality. That's a critical adjective, because the last thing that we want to do is find ourselves in a situation where your children, where your neighbors, where our acquaintances, where my students are working 1, 2, 3 jobs just to get by. So while we're thinking about different strategies that we can develop and we can implement to enhance existing investment and bring in more investment, we want to focus in on bringing in good quality jobs. Along those lines, this presentation will be broken up into 3 different subtopics, if you will. With the first subtopic, I want to talk a little bit about the progress that we've made over the last 25 years in terms of economic growth and development, which has been impressive. Notwithstanding what many critics might argue, the progress in our area in economic growth and development has been without precedent, without parallel, and you'd find a difficult task to find another community of equal size and composition that has achieved as much as we have achieved in the last 25 years. So we're going to look at our progress over the last 25 years. After that, we're going to look at specific attributes in our community that make us attractive, that make us competitive, that bring in investment. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about investment that we've seen so far and the essence of the presentation. What kinds of strategies we can employ to increase existing investment in our area and bring in more investment so that we're creating those quality jobs. Let's begin with that first subtopic. What kind of progress have we made? So what has been our economic progress over the last 25 years? And once again, the last 25 years are crucial. Population in this period of time. And that's largely a function of industry coming in. Education, also tremendously important. Don't need to spend too much time on education. I think we all understand the advantages of education to bringing in investment, bringing in industry. Another advantage that we have, take a minute and look through some of those statistics and think about how, to a certain degree, they are in contravention to popular views. I'd like to share some of those statistics, and I often do with my colleagues up in northern Texas who are constantly telling me, "Hi, Kevin, when are you guys going to do something about the graduation rate at the high schools, at the junior colleges, at the university, etc.?" I said, guess what? We have. We have. Take a look at these statistics, I will say to them. To look at the high school graduation rate, not only have we caught up to the rest of Texas, and believe me, back in the 1990s, we were well behind. Not only have we caught up, but we've passed the rest of the state. We've passed the rest of the state in terms of high school graduation. Look at the number of students with some college or a certificate or associate's degree, and look at that final statistic. 1 in 3 individuals in our community over the age of 25 hold a bachelor's degree. So we have the educational credentials, STEM credentials, social science credentials, office management credentials. We have everything that investors are looking for. A little bit further, transportation and production infrastructure, no need to spend much time on that. We know that we have a definite comparative advantage. The Port of Brownsville, proximity to the border, our transportation network through the highways. All right, a couple other data before we move on. Cost of living. Cost of living is extremely low in the area. If you are a company, well, if you're in the public or private sector and you're looking for an area to open up shop, cost of living in the valley is tremendously low. Also, our wages. This is something that we want to change. Nonetheless, it does attract investment. Wages in the valley are approximately $10 less than the national average. These are only some representative statistics. So what's the picture that we've painted so far? We painted a picture that definitely is incongruent with what many would like to tell us. We've painted a picture in which we have seen empirically through hard data that our economy has been undergoing profound economic growth and development for the last 25 years. We identify characteristics, and these are only representative of why our area is competitive and why we can bring in more industry. Let's go on to our third subtopic. Let's look at how investment has increased over the years. So we've got the economic growth and development, we know that. What about the investment? Here too, the data is favorable. Investment has increased almost exponentially in our area. Take a minute and look at that data. Not what everybody would tell us. Over the last 20 years, investment in our area has increased by 44%, from 15 to around $20 billion. And once again, those are figures that are corrected for inflation. This doesn't reflect variations in the value of money. This reflects real investment in our area. So it's good news. It's good news. We have seen ongoing, continuous increases in investment. Where is most of that investment coming from? Well, these are the principal firms. And once again, I know I'm telling you a lot of what you already know, but what my hope is, because I'm passionate about this topic, I can't help it, I'm passionate about this topic. I've spent 30 years of my life investigating strategies to promote economic growth and development. So yes, I know I'm telling you much of what you already know, but my hope is that afterwards, you'll investigate more of this unilaterally, we'll all become more involved, and please, if you want a lengthy, boring conversation with somebody about this, get in touch with me. Contact me via email, stop by my office, whatever the case might be. So these are the industries where we've seen some of the most investment in our area. And these are the industries that we want to target. Okay, how can we go about increasing investment in our area? What can we do? What are the different strategies? Well, once again, because of time constraints, I'm just going to look at a couple. But obviously, the most important strategy is education. And fortunately, what we've seen is that the educational institutions in our area have been tremendously proactive. They've anticipated need, and they've reacted to it by preparing our labor force. Let's look at some representative programs. UTRGV, the medical school, outstanding example of an institution that is reacting to need. That medical school is going to be producing physicians that remain within our area and help to continue to convert us into a regional medical hub. We have all the potential. We have everything that we need to be the preeminent medical hub throughout not just South Texas, but throughout Texas. Already, you have people coming down from northern Texas, coming down from the United States, coming down from Canada, coming up from Mexico, coming up from Mexico City for the medical resources that we have here. And this is something that we need to capitalize on. UTRGV is doing a fantastic job of that. South Texas College is also doing an outstanding job, which is typical of South Texas College. South Texas College is also doing an outstanding job of being proactive and providing our students with the education that they need for the jobs that are coming and to be able to attract more jobs. For example, our nursing program is moving towards competency-based education programs, which is going to increase the number of nurses that we turn out, and it's going to accelerate the rate. We have a medical and health service management program in Dr. Ali Smiley's division, which is headed by the chair, Dr. Hilaire St. Pierre, which is producing students to occupy staffing positions, administrative positions, coding positions within the medical industry. So just some different examples. So we're going to have to continue to focus in on education, and the salient characteristic there is in focusing in on preparing our students for the quality jobs that are coming. What else can we do? Advertising, and marketing. And this is an area where we've also been proactive. We've been absolutely effective in advertising and marketing the benefits of the Valley, which is instrumental in some of the investment that we brought down. Another area that we need to focus in on. The last one, and once again, forgive me for going over time, the last area is one that I don't think receives as much attention as it probably should. But another area that we can focus in on, and just once again, these are just representative, you guys. You're in 20 minutes, I'm killing myself. I wish I had more time. The last area is bilateral or binational cooperation. Binational cooperation. The more we cooperate with Mexico, the more we integrate in with Mexico, the more we create common policies, procedures, and institutions, and a common infrastructure, the more successful we're going to be. Theoretically, we know it. Empirically, we know it. We know it theoretically. Now, we as economists like to talk a lot about something called comparative advantage. Every area has a particular advantage. This area might have an advantage in terms of the labor force. This might have a better infrastructure. This might have educational advantages. When you start to unify these different areas with discrete, disparate comparative advantages, you start to capitalize on economies of scale. You start to become much more effective. We've seen this occurring over and over again in the past in our collaborative activities with Mexico, but we need to do more of this in the future. We need to do more of this. Educational collaboration, infrastructural collaboration, business collaboration, and once again, our institutions are doing a wonderful job of this. I'm only going to speak for South Texas College, but I know that for the last year and a half, 2 years, a significant emphasis has been placed on more bilateral collaboration with Mexico. All right, well, thanks for putting up with me.